Good morning and welcome to a rather breezy but sunny day in the South Lakes. And yes, some major transitions at Planet Auto HQ. The garage has now gone, however now we have a rather excellent exhibition area. So it means that we can get up close and personal and see the views of the garden and orchard. This is the Skywell BE11 and this demonstrates what's possible when you pair a tech company with a bus company. I'm Ben Quirk, welcome to Planet Auto. Now the likelihood is you've never heard of Skywell, but they've actually been going since 2000 in China. And primarily, they're a commercial vehicle company. So they have models like the Blue Whale, and that's a big bus. They also have vans, and one of my favourites, pickups. Looks like Jazz approves of the Skywell BE11. He's already been inspecting the rear axle. So Skywell have now decided to move into the passenger car market, starting with their first SUV, this one. They're also going to be releasing models like the Q in the coming years. If you think about it, it's a similar type of thing to BYD. They started with phones and then built cars. These guys have started with tech and buses and just, I suppose, pared them down. The thing that really astounds about this SUV is its price tag. This one, which is essentially top of the range, is just under £40,000. The thing is, they start at £37,000 and there's literally one trim. This one. But there are two ranges. Ah yes, I forgot to mention, for that £37,000 you get a fully electric SUV. So talk about introducing at a really competitive price. Now reviews are all over the shop for this, and the general consensus is it's not one of the most preferred models. And yes, it's got its foibles, but it reminds me of early MG, and that's not a bad thing. Because look where MG are now. Now you're in China and you're developing for the European market. And the likelihood is you've done your research, but until you go over there and test their roads, etc., you're kind of flying a little, well, blinkered. Now to put it simply, I suppose this is their test case. And if you remember early Kias, when they came over here, oh my word, they drove, well, markedly different to the way that they drive today. First impressions, I like it. I love the price tag. I like the way that it's got a 300-mile range. And it'll exceed that quite massively when you take it into the city. I've already driven it in my preferred manner. And yes, it is pretty quick. On paper, not so much. I think it's just over 9 seconds to 60. However, if you can get the power down, it does feel, well, far more responsive. Yes, it does have its downfalls. But this is a learning curve. For example, if you floor it off the start, it will wheel spin, and it'll wheel spin for fun. You can even get smoke off the tyre. So they've told me. Thing is, that didn't hold MG5. So all you need to do is tweak things. So hopefully this valuable feedback from you guys and my driving and experiences will point Skywell in the right direction. But to start with, it warms the cockles of my heart. I like it. I like its conservative looks. I also like the way that, well, you've got one trim. Now, it's not the same in China. You've got a comfort and a luxury. So what do you get for your $37,000? 360 camera, adaptive cruise control, adjustable regen, a big infotainment system, DAB radio, a panoramic, it even opens, 19-inch wheels, and in my experience, a rather reliable SUV. It's comfortable, it's well trimmed, and I still can't get over the price. Now the way that Skywell operate is a bit like Colt Car Company with Mitsubishi, meaning these are distributed by Innovation Automotive. So they will be in dealers rather soon, if not now. Now Skywell 100% believe in this car. 7-year warranty with 100,000 miles. That's quite rare in the industry now. Now I think it'll do well once they iron out the kinks. And yes, there are a few. Yes, it's not the most modern, but like MG5, I look fondly on its design language. It's more, well, conservative. It's not flashy, it's rather understated, and it just uses, I suppose, typical classical almost design language. You've got lots of lovely curvature, but there's nothing that makes you go, ooh, look at that. Thing is, that's the kind of thing I like. The slimline LEDs, the half clamshell bonnet, and the overall look. when you look face on, it's not dated, it just looks conservative. But that appeals to a heck of a lot of people. I've already done tip runs and all types of things, and I was talking to a lovely guy who'd just bought a Volvo, and I think it was an XC40, and he'd paid something like £45,000. So when he saw this, and I told him the price tag, he's like, I'm actually going to go and check them out. That's it. This stigma of Chinese vehicles has almost gone. Because let's face it, they're giving legacy brands a run for their money. And the other thing is, they're driving prices down, which we seriously need in the UK. If you like this type of video, why not subscribe to the channel? You just hit the button on the right hand side. It's free and you'll get an alert every time we upload. Also, if you do like the video, why not give it a like? It all helps and it means we can get more cars. Thank you. Full LED lights, parking sensors, and some rather nifty safety. And I think the biggest part for me is it doesn't nag. Now, if you cross the line, then yes, it'll give you a quick, no, don't do that. But there's nothing that's constantly beeping. So it's got lane keep assist, lane departure warning, adaptive cruise, mitigation systems, cameras, sensors. You're also wrapped in a fair chunk of metal. Now ADAS is a very important thing. It'll increase the NCAP. Speaking of NCAP, there is no rating as yet. I like the typical SUV styling. So yes, it looks rather off-roady with its plastic cladding. Also decent space in the arches. It's even got doors that cover the sills, but sadly, there's no all-wheel drive. Whether we'll see one, well, that remains to be seen. Charging times. Well, it's not the quickest. If you go for the standard, it's just under 75 kilowatt hour. Now, if you go for the long range, that's just under 85 kilowatt hour. But that still means 10 to 70% in under 45 minutes. And the likelihood is, if you buy this, most of your charging is going to be done on Type 2 anyway, unless you're using Rapids. Because that's where this will become super efficient. To charge this to say 100%, which is just over 300 miles, it'll probably cost us about £4.50. That still staggers me. On a rapid charge, closer to 70, but as I always mention, with an EV, it's not going to suit everybody. If you're in a flat and you have to charge, then you are going to be using, well, rapid chargers, Type 2s on the street. And there's a significant markup on charging, sadly. Now the likelihood is, moving on, we'll see an app for this, and also probably a preferred charging system, so you'll get a preferential rate. From the side, yes, it's very simple. A chrome strip, some privacy glass, and some roof rails. But isn't that what a lot of people want? Just a simple, decent looking SUV. Keyless entry, power folding door mirrors, and a rather swish. And this is blue. Let's take a look inside. The door opens nice and wide. Climbing in is child's play. At 6'3", I can just step in. I don't really need to even dip my head. Very nice. Considering this is standard, that's a decent grade. Now, yes, you've still got harder plastics down here. Soft touches, padded areas, electric windows. Also, you get an 8-speaker system on this too, including a sub in the boot. I like this wooden trim. Yeah, it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. In my eyes, they've put quite a bit of thought into a door card, which is not normally the case for an SUV of this price bracket. Once in, I suppose it's not the most modern design language, but it does everything it says on the tin. So you've got a decent sized centre console, digital cluster, soft touches up here, and more of the wood inserts. Nice to see something that bit different. Now, interestingly, we've got no controls whatsoever on the right-hand side. I suppose that's the thing. It omits things that you just normally include. It's comfortable. It's not the most spacious in the front, but that creates a rather nice cockpit feel, especially with this wide centre console. And even the door pocket's rather big too. Solid build quality. Mind you, that shouldn't surprise me with the construction in here. I've done a fair few miles and spent quite a bit of time just looking around the vehicle, because it's interesting to have something that's so new to market. So even like this centre console, I'm rocking the vehicle before the centre console moves, and there's no creaks. A little bit there, slight bit of movement. Now I suppose it mixes classic design language with modern functionality. Rotaries and proper buttons, chunky stalks, the kind of thing a British car buyer wants. Now yes, I always want a manual handbrake in an SUV. The fact of the matter is, this is how it's going to be moving forward. And it's not a bad system. And you've also got an auto hold here. I'd like to see Sport on a separate button. If you've noticed, it's gone really quiet now and it's kept the outside outside. And that's because it's well refined. Now it's got some way to go. In Annabelle's words, the foundation is there. I mean, just look at this floating center console. So you've got your USB chargers, etc. down there. Also some extra storage. Comfortable buckety seats, and they're both electric, which is quite rare. Also, they're 6-way. They're heated, ventilation. Usually when you're at the lower price brackets of SUVs, they scrimp. But no, that's not Skywell's way, which I like. Decent visibility and great headroom. I mean, what's that? About 1.5 inches? And that's with a panoramic. Normally that would be limited. I'd like to see a heads-up display, but saying that, the cluster has everything you need. You can see your battery percentage on the right-hand side, kilowatt mile, and also your range. But you do have to go through the screen to find that. And it'll display safety, etc. in the center. It's very straightforward. It's the same with the infotainment system. It's not the most responsive we've used, but it's pretty good. Also, if you swipe left and right, you can set things like descent control. You can fold the mirrors individually. You can open your tailgate, turn on Bluetooth, Wi-Fi. You can even customize. Now, I was alarmed the first time I got in here. On the menu, I saw FM radio and thought, oh dear, it's T90 EV time again. But no, there is a DAB radio, but it works through a dongle. 360 camera, navigation, and all that jazz. And it's nice and easy to connect things like Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And there is wireless. One thing I can't find, for love nor money, is a volume control. There's nothing down here, but you do have one on the steering wheel. I like the way that you've got classic buttons here. Things like heaters, demisters. But if you've noticed, the air conditioning displays on the bottom of the screen. That's it. It does take a bit of getting used to, but once you're there, one really strange thing. It says Skyworth. Multiple angles, and you can go 2D or 3D. Yeah, it's not the highest quality, but it does the job. Also got things like apps, so let's go into vehicle control. You can pretty much adjust everything in the vehicle on this screen. That's a cool feature. You can brighten the physical buttons. And here's the slider for your energy recovery. So as standard, it seems to be set at around 60%. So you can set your steering, so you can have standard, comfort or sport. Same with your brake pedal. And it's all very well having these through the screen, but I think there should either be a physical button here, or you could map it, like MG's, to say a favourites button. So we've got front radar, HDC, and some other safety assistance up here. It's even got a fatigue reminder, but you can disable it. So we've got your charge settings, so you can schedule, etc., etc. Dash, you can even tweak that. Theme 2. Whoa! Light and dark. There we go. See, they've thought about this, but you do have to find it. So on the right-hand side now, you've got your battery level, but if I press mileage, it's replaced the percentage with 257 miles of range. Oh, look at all the colour modes as well. Breathing mode, what's this? The colour of the atmosphere lamp remains unchanged, a dynamic display, multi-breath. I presume atmosphere lamp must be mood lighting. That's it, so many cool functions. They've just left out, I suppose, the adjustability in an easy manner, like a little joystick. Now the biggest question, do we have reach and rake in the steering wheel? We do, and a decent sized footrest. Auto dimming mirror, SOS button, and this is where you operate your sunroof. And it's not just a blind. It's a decent sunroof. Let's have a look in here. Decent storage and amazing. I've not said this for some time and I'm looking forward to it. It's ventilated so you can keep your cheeses, jams, chutneys and all types of things in there. It's a decent size. And yes, you do have a wireless charging pad located there. Glove box, decent size. Wow. Yeah, you will find things like this. The BE11 straddles that line between premium and practicality. It ticks the boxes, but there's still work to be done. Let's take a look at the back. I almost forgot. Adjustable seat belts, but no grab handle for the driver's side. The 19s look rather smart and they suit the vehicle. You've also not got the lowest profile tyre, so it makes it comfortable on A roads, B roads and the motorway. And that's the one thing that this excels at, comfort. It's really lovely to drive. Look at the length of the rear doors. It's a really big SUV. And that's it, you connect it to the £37,000 price and you're just like, is this bargain of the century? Discs all round, and it's got a rather pleasing silhouette. Right, let's take a look in the rear. The door opens nice and wide, and just look at the opening. And this rear door's colossal, and it's finished the same way as the front. And a decent door pocket, padded areas, soft touches, even at the top of the rear doors. Climbing in. Simplicity once again. Look at that. It's just massively roomy. And just look at the size of the passenger window. Sadly, no heated rear seats. This is massively spacious. Even with the privacy glass, these dark sunglasses and a blind, it's still very, very light. But it's not surprising when you look at the size of the rear window and also this window here. I can't believe this is set for me at 6'3". Wow. I can get my feet under the seats, and this area in itself is just massive. Sadly, the seats don't slide. I would have preferred to have a little more upright in the rear bench. And interestingly, it'll recline further than this. They're comfortable. A little bit firm, but that's quite nice for your posture and your back. But there is, I suppose, an element of squish to them too. Pull down armrest with 2 cup holders. In the centre, 2 USBs and even a 3-pin. Very cool. And you've got some map pockets. I can't get over how airy it is. Realistically, at a push, this could be a 7-seater. Just mega space. Headroom, well, about 1 inch. And I am sat upright. Map reading lights, grab handle above every door except the driver's. Great visibility. Isofix point, airbags. I think that's your lot. Pleasantly surprised and perfect for a long haul. Right. Let's take a look at the back. I like the rear. I think it's sleek and stylish curvature with a full width light bar and Skywell. Decent rear window and a sporty spoiler with a high level brake light. Rear parking sensors and of course the reversing camera. It's not overdone. It's just the perfect balance, what you call the Goldilocks formula. I just hope they bring an all-wheel drive because look at that ground clearance. Let's take a look at the boot. So you can release it either here or with a key fob. You can also release it through the screen. I can just about fit under it, which isn't bad actually. Usually with Chinese SUVs, I have to stoop a little. But with this, it's just about doable, which is nice. Decent sized boot, and it's got quite a bit of height to it. It's amazing how many vehicles now have slimmed down because of obviously batteries and so on, but it looks to me like this platform has been made either for specific electric vehicles or massively adapted. 12-volt socket, boot light, and a pull-out load cover. And this is awesome. It's like an insulated carpet and it just protects the boot. Interestingly, there's no tethering hooks or shopping bag hooks either. Now you have your mandatory top tether hooks. Check your sub. Yeah, that's a proper classic design, isn't it? Normally you'd have it housed in here, but it does the job. And it sounds pretty good as well. Inflation kit. Interestingly, there's only one position for the load cover. To remove it, just literally pull in one end and negotiate the exit. There we go. Now, I don't think there's a position under here, which is, yeah, no, that's a shame. It would be nice to see that on the subsequent model too. But in the meanwhile, let's drop the seats. So we can either do it from the rear or we can do it from the back seats. So you just pull this up. Ah yes, 60-40 folding seats, perfect. Yeah, that's not ideal, is it? However, Skywell have thought about this. So, if we push this back up, you lift this up, and like old school Ford Sierras and things, you literally push it there. You do need to remember to plug this back in though, but it's nice and easy, you just literally line it up and it's done. But more than that, this now lies entirely flat. That's perfect, especially for my mountain bike. And look, if you put these across, there's no gap either. Let's take a look under the bonnet. Oh. Yes, it's not quite as responsive as some of the other systems, but it does stop. To release the bonnet, and pull twice. Whoa, that's quite a hefty bonnet. it would benefit from some struts. I think that'd be the perfect place for a frunk. Take note, Skywell. That'd be a nice addition. Easy to see where to top up, well, your wipers. That's about it. So yeah, very straightforward. I think it's time to see how this drives. Welcome behind the wheel of the Skywell BE11. That is a bit loud. A mid-sized SUV that starts at, get this, £37,000. And it's fully electric. In general, it's a pretty damn good SUV. It's got 300-mile range and it's front-wheel drive.
One thing to note is that range will go up a lot in a city environment.
The regen. I don't actually think there's a physical button or anything around here where you can adjust it. You can adjust it in the screen. And cleverly, you can adjust it anywhere between, I think it's 0 and 100%, which is quite unheard of.
Yeah.
But no, it's a pleasurable SUV to drive, isn't it, Annabelle?
It really is. And it's not just because you've got a comfortable driving position, it's about all of it.
Yeah. The suspension is remarkably good. It just gobbles up bumps and potholes like we'll know tomorrow, which I like. The thing is, it does at points have a problem putting the power down. Oh, there you go.
There we go.
So if you floor it or try and launch, it will wheel spin. The thing is, that didn't stop the MG5 selling. And that was pretty bad. We had that wheel spinning going up.
Rhino's Pass, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's steep. So it started as it means to go on, but in my eyes it does need some more refinement. But the general driving experience, I think it's pretty good. It's quite light steering, but you can change it through the screen. That's the other thing. I'd like physical buttons for my regen to change the steering, to change the acceleration. Because if you've noticed, sport mode is actually on the rotary. I prefer that to be on a button because I don't like switching with my rotary when I'm zooming along. Normally with a shifter, you've either got a button or you knock it to one, whichever way.
Yeah.
But you can't do that with a rotary.
No, it's disconcerting, isn't it? Paddles on the back could do the job as well.
Oh yeah, paddles on the back would be perfect. Or even buttons. Choose between, I don't know, if you pressed it, it could go up 10% at a time. Oh yeah, no, there's lots of directions they can go. But it just staggers me how little money it is. And it does go. It claims 0 to 60 in 9, but up to about 40 miles an hour is considerably quicker. Yeah, you can hear a bit of wind noise and you can hear a bit of road noise.
But these aren't the best roads and it is windy.
I know, no, these are bad roads. The thing is, travelling at 25, 30, you barely hear anything. Tyre noise, well, you're bound to hear it because we're running 19s, and that's standard. That's the thing. The amount of boxes it does tick is quite something.
You do get a lot of car for the money.
You do, and it doesn't seem to guzzle range, even if you're flooring it. The steering is quite light. The thing is, you can change it in the settings. It's the same with the braking too. Now, you've got all that adjustment in your regen, but there's nothing that I would really call one-pedal driving, which is a shame. So it'd be nice to see that next too. Considering it's a brand new vehicle to market, it's got the potential to sell extremely well if they iron out these,
Foibles,
I suppose, yeah,
as you said,
yeah, exactly, foibles.
Good, the brake's good, the suspension's fantastic.
Yeah, no, the range is excellent, especially for this price bracket.
Oh yeah, and that's...
But I mean, cornering as well. It's not particularly bad. What it does remind me of is early HS. So, yes, it does lumber around and it lists more like a ship, but that didn't stop HS selling either.
No.
That's the thing, it's a big SUV. It's got to have some kind of pliability, otherwise it wouldn't be comfortable. It'd be driving something like a, what is it, a Trackhawk Jeep.
Yeah.
Now, I've touched on regen, but what I haven't mentioned is when you get in the vehicle, it's set to, I think it's about 60%, which is enough to, we'll just scrub off the speed. Yeah, it's what I would call slightly lighter than you'd feel as base level in other cars, like what, level 2, something like that. But it is enough, and I suppose in that way it feels more like, I think it was Aura. one was, and BYD models as well. So you've got more of the coasting rather than the heavier braking. If you've noticed, there's no nagging either. So it's got safety, but it keeps itself to itself. Generally, I'm really enjoying my experience with it. It's also not too big for these little B roads either. But no, the driving experience in itself, the setup, the brakes, the acceleration, it all goes hand in hand. And a lot of people say it's slow because it's not 60 and 9. It just isn't.
No, it's really
If you
not.
can get the power down, it rockets along. No, everything's nice and reachable. You've got great visibility. B pillar's not too big. Lane keep assist, lane departure warning, mitigation systems. Yeah, it's fun. If you can feather the throttle, then you can get away, well, quick time, can't you?
Well, that's what you taught me to do with the MG5.
Yeah,
And it served us well on this.
that's it. The thing is, it wouldn't be hard to make that a little easier.
Just need some fine tuning back with the engineers.
Yeah, there's a heck of a lot of potential with this vehicle. I mean, people claim it's hesitant as well, and I've not noticed that at all.
I hadn't noticed it when I've driven it myself.
I did notice that the auto handbrake at points will roll back ever so slightly, but if you're ready for it, you're all good. Nice and clear cluster, everything's simple, easy to read. It's not too over complex either. So you can see just about what you need. There's nothing that's... I suppose it's one of those you can just get in and drive. And it's nice and easy, you've got your push button start. Pretty good lights. Also, it is quite a dynamic drive, even with the size of the vehicle. It feels, you can have a bit of fun in it. I mean, yes, it is pretty big, so don't go tear-assing around like a hot hatch. But it has an element of dynamic and agility. Discs all round, so decent brakes. And yes, there's only front-wheel drive. It'd be nice if it was an all-wheel drive.
Well, considering that the version of this in China has 2 trims, you never know what they might release.
Exactly. Into sport. 50.
Woohoo!
That seems...
That was smooth.
Yeah, well, it's not just that. It's not...
Exactly.
It put the power down efficiently, and that's in sport mode. And you can tell the difference. It's a lot more lively. If I put it back in drive, though... Yeah.
No, it's impressive. And it's going to be interesting to see what else Skywell comes up with over the year.
Yeah. No, what I'd do is, if you've seen this, you're after something that's relatively big but very well equipped, have a look. And there are 20 dealers that are stocking Skywell too. So it's not like you're just buying it online. Always, well, the benefit. And the other major thing, nearly forgot, 7-year warranty and 100,000 miles. That's quite rare in the industry now.
That shows a lot of faith in it, doesn't it?
It does. So
no,
yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see where Skywell go. But take this for a test drive. Tell us what you think.
thanks for watching.
Thank you. I forgot about